singularity.
Hey guys, this is Nick aka Socrates and I'm here at HackLab.TO. We're coming to visit our friend Eric Boyd, who is one of the key people in this very cool hacker space, and hopefully will be the guy to open up the door for us and give us a tour of the space. Alright, so let's go in and check it out. I have to say I really like the stickers, especially this one. Come back with a warrant. Okay, we don't have a warrant, so perhaps let's see if they're going to let us in. Whoops, the door just popped open and we're already in, even without the warrant. So, hello?
Hello.
Anybody home? Oh, we have somebody there.
Hey, I'm Eric.
Looks like Eric's head. Alright, great. Let's go in. See if I break my leg coming up the stairs. And there we have Mr. Eric Boyd.
Hey.
Hey Eric. Eric is a very cool guy. He's actually one of the co-founders of StumbleUpon, but we'll talk about that a bit later. And for now, we'll just focus on the space. So let me just take a quick look first and see how it looks like. Very interesting. It looks like a space that's actively used. Lots of 3D printed stuff, lots of parts and elements from different projects. I think I see a homemade 3D printer there, but I'm sure Eric is going to tell us all about this.
That's part of the tour.
So, Eric, what's the name of the place?
So this is HackLab Toronto. HackLab.TO is our website. We're a community technology organization. We have about 35 members. And basically we share space. So we share tools, we share equipment, and we share expertise. We learn from each other and we collaborate on projects, and we do whatever we want with technology.
That's fantastic. So let's take a look around and see, and perhaps you can show us some of the elements and some of the tools that you guys use
Sure,
here.
Yeah, so you just come this way. The first thing on the tour is always the 3D printer. So this is a MakerBot Industries Cupcake CNC. It's number 211, which means it was one of the very early ones. I think they're over 10,000 now. And basically what it does is it takes the plastic filament here and it puts it through a heat up thing, a little thermal part, and then it squeezes it out very finely. And this platform moves in X and Y, and the printhead moves in Z. And it basically just moves around, it does a layer, and then moves up, it does another layer, it moves up, and it does another layer. And you can build almost any plastic object using it, assuming the object is about the size of a cupcake. That's why it's called Cupcake CNC, because the maximum size is about a cupcake.
So how long does it take for you to print out an object the size of a cupcake? One layer at a time?
2 hours.
2 hours.
It takes a long time. But you don't actually have to do anything. The machine does it all, right? You make your CAD file, whatever you want, and you set it going, and then you can come back in 2 hours. Like, you don't have to watch it or anything.
And what's the granularity? How fine is the resolution of this printer?
It's a little less than a millimeter, which is not as good as you can get with commercial 3D printers, but it's still, if you look over here on the dash actually, you can see all of the things that were printed here, and many of them are quite high resolution. So where's the one that I always, oh yeah, here. I like this one, the Ziggurat. It shows the resolution of the printer pretty well. And also things like this one. This is some kind of probably bio-inspired propeller thing.
And what's the cost? I mean, is this like a sort of do-it-yourself, put-it-together kind of a printer, or do you buy it ready to go? How does it work?
It's from MakerBot Industries. It comes as a kit. I think we paid about $800, and you put it together. It comes with like a bunch of laser cut panels and a bunch of plastic pieces and the extruder head and a bunch of electronics, and you assemble it all. And then you have to calibrate it for a while, and then eventually it makes prints like that. And nowadays, actually, you can buy MakerBot Industries sells pre-assembled versions, which are still reasonably cheap. I think the new one, the MakerBot Replicator, is $2,000, and it comes fully assembled, and it has 2 print heads, not just one. But they still sell like this kind of thing for about $1,000 in kit form.
So basically, if somebody wants to replicate what you guys do and say, for example, start another chapter of HackerLab somewhere else, and I think the 3D printer is one of the key tools, what would they be looking at?
Well, like I said, it's about $1,000, and it really helps if you have somebody who has some experience putting them together. Like, it's not that hard, but you do need people who are good with their hands and who know like what it looks like when you're done. It's kind of like putting together a puzzle, right?
Fantastic. So I'm just noticing here for the record the voice activated little gadget that you have on your neck. And I'm going to come back to that later in our conversation.
It's called SoundSpark. I make them, yeah.
How do you call it?
SoundSpark.
SoundSpark. Fantastic. So we'll come back to the SoundSpark later. Let's see. What else do you want to show us around, Eric?
Well, the next major thing on the tour is the LED sign here. Yeah, it's formed with 6 panels that we bought at Active Surplus, which is on Queen Street here in Toronto. It's like a store that sells all manner of like leftover electronic goods and all kinds of strange parts. And basically, they got 6 panels, and they didn't know how to use them, so they reverse engineered the protocol that drives the LEDs. And then there's an Arduino here that they wrote software for to make the screen show stuff. And the Arduino talks over serial to a computer that knows what time it is. And it also talks, I should be able to start right here. If you play music in the space, it'll say the name of the music here. And when members beep the door with their RFID tags, it'll also show you the name of the member as they're coming into the space. So that way you know to, like, not talk about them.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So you don't have surprises, huh?
No surprises. And you can also make it show things from the IRC channel, so you can send it arbitrary messages, which is kind of cool.
That's fantastic. Very interesting. And I see you have a very nice tool set here.
Yeah, there's lots of tools in the space. So these are mostly hand tools, screwdrivers and stuff. There's also, if you look on the dash, or on the ledge, the window ledge, there's all kinds of like soldering irons. So that one in the corner there is a surface mount soldering iron. There's power supplies, frequency generators. I don't even know what that thing in the corner is, but I guess that's the new Byron just told me that it's a sealing system. So you can take a plastic bag and seal the bag up.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, to store your food or something?
Yeah, or if you want to protect something from the environment somehow.
Yeah, from water and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, and what do we have here on the table?
This is some of my stuff. So that's the regular soldering iron we use, and then this is a label maker. Obviously, I don't know why that's even out, but there's some of my new stuff here, which we'll get into later.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So these are like my prototypes. Most of them don't actually work yet, but they will work soon.
Okay, and
there's more parts of the tour if you want.
Absolutely, of course.
So the next
That's
part of
what
the tour
we're here
is
for.
Train Overlord. So if you look up, there's a train track running across the ceiling here.
Train Overlord?
The Train Overlord, yeah. It's our robot Denizen, the robot who lives in the lab. And actually, he's kind of broken right now, but if you come over, you can see him. He's in fact pretty much always broken. So here's the actual robot Overlord, minus the engine, so there's no way to make him move right now. But basically, he's got a laser on a pan and tilt thing, so he can shine laser in any direction. And then there's an Arduino stack, including a motor shield and a Zigbee shield, so that you can talk wirelessly to the train. And the idea is, eventually, we want to be able to run the robot back and forth along the rails. And there's a winch. I don't know where the winch is.
So it rides along all these rails here.
Yeah, it rides along the rails, and he has a winch system, which I can't seem to locate. But the idea is eventually you'll be able to order the train over to the table, lower the winch, pick up an empty pop can, raise the winch back up, order the train along, lower it into the recycle bin. That's the idea.
Oh, that's super cool. I can't wait to see that.
So far we've invested about 100 hours and we haven't recycled a single can yet, but it's lots of fun anyway.
You have to start somewhere, plus if you're having fun, that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. That's all that really matters in the end. And actually we've all learned a lot of stuff. Like I learned a lot about Zigbee doing this project, which is really cool. It's like a wireless way to communicate from a small microcontroller like Arduino to a computer, so that this is the Zigbee, the other end of the Zigbee communication here. So it's on that computer. And then we even hooked it up so you can control it from the smartphone. If you run an application on this computer that talks over Wi-Fi, then your smartphone can connect to Wi-Fi to this computer, and you can control this train directly from your smartphone, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, and anything else?
Yeah, one other thing on the tour is a laser cutter.
Laser cutter, that's pretty cool. By the way, what's this screen all about here? I've been passing by it a couple times.
So that's called HackTouch. It's not usually on the tour, but basically it's a system you can look. There's a door log. So every time members beep in with the RFID tag, it adds an increment to their number of times they've entered, and this is our like high scoreboard. So I'm winning. Huh.
Yeah.
Though actually it's kind of unfair because when I started I already had a whole bunch, like I inherited an RFID card from a previous member. And this is our, you can control the music system and you can see today's headlines. Although hilariously, if you watch this long enough, one of the places it pulls headlines from is The Onion, so every so often you'll see a headline, you'll be like, wait, that's not true.
So it keeps you on your toes, you don't believe anything and everything you read, right?
Everything you read.
Yeah, that's right. Awesome. Great, let's go on.
Yeah, okay. So the laser cutter is in the bathroom, which we also call the laboratory. And people really get a kick out of our signage in the bathroom, yeah.
Yeah, I love the come back with the warrant sign at the front door. Big scary laser, do not look kids.
Yeah, so we'll just open this up and you can walk in. It's kind of a small room, but if you walk in and look to your left, you'll see the laser cutter there.
Okay, now that's a hacker space. If the washroom is stuffed with servers and a laser cutter, now that's a hacker space, alright?
Yeah, so this laser cutter they purchased on Craigslist for $500 and it was totally broken. The electronics were completely non-functional and they didn't know whether the laser itself was going. But it turns out the laser was going and the gantry system all worked. They just had to rebuild the electronics. If you look in here, all of this is custom built electronics by HackLab members. And it basically is a system for controlling the movement of the gantry so that you can laser cut things. And then it talks to the computer, and the computer runs EMC2, which is an open source machine control software. And my personal favorite part of this is use a game controller to move the thing around.
Oh, now that's totally what hacking's all about.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. And I see servers here. What are these for?
So these run some of the infrastructure for HackLab. So there's a couple of virtual machine hosts here, and there's a lot of networking. We actually have 3 Wi-Fi networks, and the public one is throttled, so there's a machine here that's doing that. And I don't actually use much of this stuff, but I know that there's several people who use this regularly. There's also a shell machine where we all have our accounts, and the things like the doorbot, where you actually beep in, it's run on this machine, and all kinds of stuff like that.
That's fantastic. That's a hacker space, alright? If the washroom is stuffed with equipment.
Exactly.
Can you perhaps show us some of the laser cutted stuff?
Yeah.
What do you cut with the laser cutter?
Oh, what's around? I mean, usually what I show people is the leftover pieces. So what you get is like the negative of what people actually wanted. I'm not sure what they wanted there, but it's kind of heart-shaped things.
Well, it was Valentine's Day just a few days ago, so...
Yeah, who knows what that's from. And this, I remember this. This was Rachel making a necklace, so she made a piece, or a bracelet. She made a piece with a hole in it here. What else do we got in here? Oh, I think this one was actually me. These things were circles that I used to make my wizard staff. And so on. So there's lots of pieces, and basically you can see, like, you can cut arbitrary shapes out of plastic, and then form them up. Actually, there is one example of a laser cut thing. Our donation box was laser. Here you go.
I love your space. It's a very vibrant, full of life
So
space.
all of these were laser cut individually and then glued together to make the clear box.
And how about the writing there?
Yeah, and the writing was also laser cut. This was what we did is just set the power less so that it didn't cut all the way through. It only cut in.
Yeah, so you kind of laser etching it.
Yeah, exactly. This still isn't. This is etching. There's also a thing that I don't think we have any examples of, right? But it's rastering. Instead of like cutting in a path, you can also make the laser just do this and turn the laser on and off really quickly, and you can raster. Which looks different again.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, do you have anything else to show us, or maybe perhaps it's time to sit down and you can tell us a little more about the philosophy of the place, why you guys have started it, what's the purpose, how does it work, and so on. If new people are interested in joining your ranks, how can they do that, and so on.
Yeah, let's go sit down. I mean, there's lots of things I can show you yet, but oh, here's a good one actually. This is 3D printed laser chess with a laser cut board.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so the way you play is it's all like higgledy-piggledy right now, but basically each player has a laser that they fire, and the idea is to fire the laser into the opponent's king by bouncing it off these mirrors that you move around on your turns.
Oh wow. Wow, now
reasonably
that's
well.
chess I've never played before.
It actually, psychologically, it's very similar to chess. When you're playing, you have the very, like, you're trying to look 3 or 4 moves ahead and figure out, like, he's going to move his mirrors this way and I'm going to move my mirrors that way, and like, but there's this game, it's usually a surprise ending. What'll happen is they'll make a move you didn't even see and suddenly their laser is on your king and you're like, no!